A prisoner swap has taken place between USA and Russia. In this swap, US basketball player Brittney Griner was swapped for a man who has blood of innocence on his hands. This is rather an unusual prisoner swap because the usual norm is to exchange one person or several high-value targets with another individual or a group of high-value targets. Here, only one person fills that criteria. So, who exactly is this man, Victor Bout, also referred as the merchant of death or the sanctions buster? And what makes him so important that USA agreed to release him in exchange for a basketball player? In this video, we bring to you the story of this man who has a reputation of bloodlust and who was among one of the world's most wanted before his arrest in 2008. But before that, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to Oneindia. Victor Bout has fueled some of the world's bloodiest conflicts by trafficking weapons across several continents. In a career spanning 2 decades, which stopped when he was sentenced to 25 years in a US prison in 2012, the 55-year-old Russian allegedly stoked violence from Sierra Leone to Afghanistan by bartering deals for planes and guns. He was born in Dushanbe, which was a part of the then Soviet Tajikistan in 1967. Although he was born in Tajikistan, but he is a Russian national. He is reported to be fluent in several languages and to have served in the Soviet army as a military translator, including in Angola. He is also said to have attended a Moscow language institute that served as a training ground for military intelligence officers. Bout was a former Soviet Air Force pilot and he started his career in air transport in the early 1990s. After the 1991 collapse of the Soviet Union, he was able to capitalize on a glut of cheap Soviet-made weaponry that could be sold to customers in Africa, Asia and South America. He made his fortune by collecting discarded Soviet-made aircrafts scattered across several airports as the USSR collapsed in the 90s. Operating out of the UAE, he used a fleet of Soviet-era planes to supply guns to insurgencies, warlords and rogue states around the world. He has a gifted talent for speaking several languages fluently. He had used his command of English, French, Portuguese, Arabic and Persian to build his international arms empire. British Foreign Office Minister Peter Hain had nicknamed him the Merchant of Death for supplying arms to warring sites in Eastern Europe, Angola, Afghanistan, West Asia, Central African Republic and Sierra Leone among others. The UN named him as an associate of former Liberian President Charles Taylor, who was convicted in 2012 on charges of aiding and abetting war crimes during the Sierra Leone civil war. UN documents stated that he is a businessman, dealer and transporter of weapons and minerals who supported former President Taylor's regime in an effort to destabilize Sierra Leone and gain illicit access to diamonds. Media reports in the Middle East claimed he was a gun runner for Al-Qaeda and the Taliban. In 2008, his arrest was also very intriguing, which was caught on camera. He was detained after an elaborate sting operation by the US DEA. He had agreed to sell 100 surface-to-air missiles to US agents who were posing as a representative of Colombia's leftist FARC guerrillas. These agents, who posed as Colombians, had said they will use the weapons to kill US troops. He was arrested by Thai police and over 2 years after that he was extradited to the United States, where he faced a raft of charges including conspiracy to support terrorists, conspiracy to kill Americans and money laundering. In 2012, he was convicted and sentenced by a court in Manhattan to 25 years in prison, the minimum sentence possible. Bout's outsized importance to Russia has always been the bigger puzzle. How can one man be so valuable to Moscow that they spend decades seeking his release at whatever level they can, and also be just an innocent and unfortunate global pilot and tradesman as he has claimed? There are allegations that he worked in Russian intelligence and had become an asset for them in the supply of weapons around the world to bolster Moscow's geopolitical aims and agendas. There were suggestions too that he had served alongside senior Russians who are now close to President Vladimir Putin. Perhaps this might explain the intensity with which the Americans sought him. He was never a nobody. This was all about Victor Bout, the Merchant of Death. We hope you would like this new video. Thank you for watching.
Subscribe to Oneindia channel and never miss an update.